Good morning, Mayhem Makers. Welcome to Friday. Today, we're going to start with the squares version. So I'll be posting the instructions in the group and sending them out to everybody so that you have them. We're just going to start with the simple squares one. If that's what you've cut out after last week's confusion, I apologize. Then we're going to start with that. And then if you decide to do the strips version, I will do instructions for that next. Or you could be crazy like me and be doing both, and that's okay too. These are super easy quilts. Hopefully you appreciate the simplicity this time, because I know for me this time of year I need just easy peasy, knock them out, get them done, and generally out the door to somebody else. Or maybe right now you just need something that you can cuddle up with. Maybe it's a new fabric line that you love and you just want to snuggle it. So this is an easy one. You had three sizes of squares that you cut out. You had a 6.5 and then a 3.5 and a 5-inch. Let's start with your 6.5 squares and your 3.5 squares. So start with that stack. Just sit down in front of your machine and get ready. It's going to be easy. If you're new and want to do one block at a time, as I always say, please just do your one block at a time. Keep it simple. Those of you, if you are a powerhouse and you want to just chain piece, then be ready, because this is easy. Start with 2 squares, 2 of the 3.5, 2 of the little guys, okay? Start with those guys, place them right sides together, okay? And you're just going to sew your 1/4-inch seam down one side. Doesn't matter unless it's directional and you're being fussy about how the direction goes. Then definitely make sure your directions are going so that they're stacked, because they're going to get sewn onto your 6.5-inch block with them stacked one on top of the other. So if you're directional, you want to kind of be up and down at this point. But for me, I just go crazy. So 2 of these guys together. And if anything, you can sew them all. Just take all those little squares, sew them to pairs, press them. As I always say, I press my seams open. It's just how I like it, and makes them nice and flat and crisp. So I'm a seam open person. Then you're just going to take your 6.5 big square and you're going to place your little unit right on top of each other. I got a new little stand for my phone to play with. I'm kind of liking this. So doesn't take much to entertain me, people. So put this unit on top, line up your straight edge, sew your 1/4-inch seam so that you get a unit like this. Can we see? We can see. Okay, this is block number 1, okay, or A, whatever you want to call it. They call it A in the instructions. So knock all these out. You're just going to use up all your fabric, okay? You make however many it's going to tell you in the instructions per quilt size. So like if you're doing throw, you're going to make 18 of these units. Knowing this pattern writer, there may be some extra squares left over just so you can play around with your choices so you don't get maybe 2 of the same. But that's all block A is. I mean, doesn't get any easier than that. Sew up the little ones, attach them to the big ones, press them, bam, okay? Set those aside. Then we're going to take our 5-inch squares, okay, and we're going to make block B. So I didn't break these up purely because with the holidays coming, I know you guys want to get these things done and out of your room. So you get both instructions this week, so we'll just get them done. Take all your 5-inch squares. You can either powerhouse sew them all into pairs is all we're doing. So same idea, you're just going to take 2 squares, 2 5-inch squares, place them right sides together, line up that seam, sew your 1/4-inch seam, press them open, okay? Then what you'll do is start taking pairs, okay? Marry them together, line up your seams, and at least put a pin in the seam. If you're new, I recommend 3 pins, okay? If you're new, I want you to pin the 2 seams together so they match up. And then I want you to pin at the beginning and at the end, and I'll show you what it looks like. Just so that you don't get it's scooting too far one way or the other, or getting all waffly. They're all 5-inch squares, so they should match up nice and pretty. So take your pins. Let's see if we can see this. So I have a pin at the beginning, I have a pin at the end to make sure they stay, and I have a pin right here in our center, okay? That way you just make sure that you're going to get a nice clean 4-patch, okay? Simple. But those of you who are new, definitely this is what you want to start with. These are good habits to create when you're new. Just keep them nice and clean, and look how pretty that is. All you're doing is making 4 patches. Really doesn't get any easier than this. So this is block B. So take your stack that looks like this, turn them into blocks that look like this. Look, I had step outs. I love it. That's how easy it was. I put these together this morning. So I'm just excited to get this guy going and done. But yeah, so you're just going to make a bunch of units and then marry them together and make yourself a whole bunch of 4 patches. The instructions will tell you how many 4 patches you will need depending on the size of quilt you're doing, because I know some are doing smaller, some are doing bigger, all those kinds of things. And yeah, Lisa, I'm right there with you. We're just gonna do both. It's fun, it's easy, you'll get it done. No problem, no stressing over it. But yeah, so for the squares one, that's it. Make your A's, make your B's. Next week we'll give you the layout and you'll be done. Just knock that bad boy out. So hopefully you're gonna have a fabulous Friday, a great weekend. No stress, because this is easy peasy. Turn on that podcast, that audiobook, that Netflix, whatever. Get ready just to sit down, get a whole bunch of sewing done, and feel refreshed because you're going to be a finisher, okay? You've got this, and we'll see you next week.